I started using drugs at a really young age, and it very quickly brought me into contact with the criminal justice system, actually the juvenile criminal justice system. That carried over into adulthood, where then I just started going to adult jail and adult prison, and kept going in and out of prison, struggling with my heroin addiction, struggling with drinking too much, doing too many drugs, and eventually my final case that I picked up was called drug-induced homicide. I was the one who got the drugs for somebody and came back, and then they overdosed on those drugs, and I was held accountable for that person's death. I was sentenced to 10 years at 75% in Madison County Courthouse, and they made the math easy. It was 7.5 years that I had to serve in prison. And while I was in there, and I'd tried having a relationship with God before, but I only wanted God to take away my addiction. I wanted to be normal in every other part of my life, but I just didn't want to have this addiction hanging over my head. And this time instead I went to God and I said, don't just take my addiction away. I'm willing to give all of my life to you. Everything. I'm surrendering it all. And even though I made that commitment right then to surrender my whole life, it took years of while I was in prison, giving him a piece of myself at a time, how I spoke, how I talked. Whenever I got out of prison after doing the 7.5 years, just shopping at Target and Walmart would bring on anxiety attacks. It was a strange world. Even ordering my food the first day with my dad on the way home at a Hardee's was a strange experience. Just interacting with people in that way was very different. Almost luckily, I had an ankle monitoring, and whenever I got home, I was on house arrest, and all of my movement was very restricted in what I could do and where I could go. I'd heard about the Dream Center from my pastor at my church, one of the pastors at my church named David Blackburn, and he said, hey man, this is what they do. They specialize in helping returning citizens, and one of the head guys out there, he's been exactly where you've been. You know what I mean? He'd been to prison himself. He'd been there for multiple years, in and out of the system. Maybe you should go out and talk to them. So at the time I had to get permission from my parole officer to come out to the Dream Center. And I came out to the Dream Center. I met Dar, I met Mike Pelagi, and I met Trevor Counts. And they were right there. Like, the biggest thing that they gave me was hope and support. Dar's story let me know that it's possible to recover. You can recover from a lifestyle of drugs and addiction, and you can become a normal member of society. You can reintegrate back into society. And the support that they provided to help me get through that was important. You know, I needed to know that recovery was possible, and I also needed to help to get there. I needed people to talk to and to check up on me, even though I was very determined and I had a lot of my own goals and my own ideas that I'd developed over all these years. Just somebody being there to assure me that, yeah, you can do it. Are you pursuing these goals and going after these goals? And Trevor and Dar were both important in helping me get there. I decided that instead of being a taker, I wanted to be somebody that gave back to society. I wanted to be somebody that was a positive influence on people's lives and the world around me in general. So I started to pursue as a goal to try to get into addiction counseling. I was trying to take my own experiences that I'd been through and turn them into a positive, to be able to go back and help somebody else that was still struggling where I was. I knew that I needed education to be able to do this. It wasn't just enough to have lived the personal experience. I needed to go forward and learn from the other side of it, from the book side of it as well, from the theory side. So I signed up for classes out at Lewis and Clark College and Missouri Baptist in conjunction, have a program where you can get a human services degree. So I started to do that. While I was doing that, I started to learn a lot and learn a lot about myself still in the process that I didn't know before. I applied myself. I've been a diligent student, a straight A student, and I'm getting ready to graduate 3 years now after my release. April 30th, I'll graduate with honors from Missouri Baptist University. And that's the same reason I like being a part of the Dream Center, is interacting with people that are coming out of prison, that have been to prison, that have been where I've been, and to couple my story with Dar's story of giving them that hope shot, of letting them know that it's possible to be able to get your life back together. Today, I own a home with my fiance. I'm getting married in September. You know, like I have goals and things that I'm moving forward to and looking forward to in life. And being a part of a community and giving back to a community has given me so much more, such a sense of purpose about my life that I never had whenever I was using drugs. I had this hole in my life that I was trying to fill with drugs and alcohol, that I'm finding all I needed really was God in my life and to start connecting with people in a real and genuine way.